Commander Zexthul's mandibles clicked nervously as he reviewed the atmospheric readings for the third time. The jungle moon of Verdania 7 sprawled before them through the observation deck's reinforced viewport, a writhing mass of emerald death that had claimed 17 survey teams from 4 different species over the past decade. The toxicity levels are off the charts. His science officer, a crystalline quartzian named Velshan, reported with characteristic precision. Atmospheric acid concentration at 12.7 parts per million, carnivorous flora density at maximum recorded levels, and the predator-to-prey ratio suggests an ecosystem designed specifically to consume anything foolish enough to enter it. The Galactic Survey Council had officially classified Verdania 7 as uninhabitable extreme hazard just 3 standard cycles ago. The decision had been unanimous across all member species, Zephyri, Quartzians, Vorthon, and even the notoriously stubborn Korgani had agreed that the jungle moon was simply too hostile for any form of colonization or resource extraction. That consensus lasted exactly 47 hours. "Sir," Communications Officer Thane interrupted, his 4 eyes wide with disbelief. "We're receiving a request for landing clearance from a human vessel?" Zexthul's primary and secondary stomachs both dropped. Humans, the galaxy's newest members, barely out of their home system and already making waves with their peculiar approach to danger assessment. Where every other species saw obstacles, humans seemed to see invitations. "Patch them through," Zexthul ordered, steeling himself for whatever madness was about to unfold. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a human female with sun-weathered skin and an expression of barely contained excitement. Her name tag read, Dr. Sarah Chen, Extreme Environment Specialist. "Greetings, Galactic Survey Vessel," she said cheerfully. "This is Dr. Chen aboard the research ship Darwin's Gambit. We've reviewed your classification of Verdania 7 and would like to request permission to conduct a preliminary surface expedition." Zexthul's mandibles clicked rapidly. "Dr. Chen, I must inform you that this world has been declared unlivable by the Galactic Survey Council. We've lost multiple teams to the hostile environment below." Dr. Chen's grin only widened. "I know, isn't it exciting? We've been studying your reports and honestly this place sounds like the Amazon rainforest on steroids. My team is practically vibrating with anticipation." "The Amazon?" Velshan queried, running the term through his translation matrix. "Oh, that's one of our jungle regions back on Earth. Similar hostile environment. Deadly animals, toxic plants, diseases that'll kill you in dozens of creative ways. Humans have been living there for thousands of years. Some of my colleagues actually prefer it to cities." A collective shudder ran through the bridge crew. The Zephyri had evolved on desert worlds specifically to avoid such environments. The very thought of voluntarily entering a jungle made Zexthul's exoskeleton itch. "Dr. Chen," he tried again. "The atmospheric acid levels alone would dissolve most known protective equipment within hours." "Already solved," she replied, holding up what appeared to be a breathing apparatus cobbled together from spare parts. "My engineer Rodriguez whipped up these atmospheric filters using some old submarine technology and coffee filters. Field tested them in the sulfur caves of Io. Works like a charm." "Coffee filters?" Thane whispered in horror. Dr. Chen continued as if discussing the weather. "Plus, we've packed plenty of anti-venom, antimicrobials, and emergency medical supplies. My grandmother always said to bring a first aid kit when visiting new places, though she probably never imagined places quite like this." Against his better judgment, Zexthul found himself asking, "What exactly do you plan to do down there, Dr. Chen?" Her smile reached nuclear levels of brightness. "Well, first we're going to set up a base camp, somewhere with a nice view of those bioluminescent death flowers you mentioned in your report. Then we're planning a picnic. My colleague Dr. Okafor makes incredible sandwiches, and we figured we should celebrate humanity's first visit to Verdania 7 properly." "A picnic?" Velshan's crystalline structure actually flickered with confusion. "Oh yes. We humans have this tradition of eating outdoors in beautiful, natural settings. Sure, this particular setting might try to digest us, but the bioluminescence should provide lovely ambiance." Zexthul looked around at his crew, seeing his own bewilderment reflected in their expressions. Dr. Chen, you do understand that the indigenous fauna includes apex predators with acid-based weaponry. The razor claw stalkers? Yeah, we read about those. Fascinating evolutionary adaptation. We're hoping to observe their hunting patterns from a safe distance, of course. Well, safe-ish. My xenobiology team is practically bouncing off the walls with excitement. As if summoned by her words, another human appeared on screen. A bearded man wearing what appeared to be military surplus gear covered in colorful patches. Doc, he said. Rodriguez finished the perimeter defenses. Nothing says human picnic like electrified fencing and motion-activated flamethrowers. Dr. Chen nodded approvingly. Excellent. Any luck with the insect repellent? Mixed batch 3. Different formulas. If the military-grade DET doesn't work, we've got backup options involving citronella and controlled explosions. Zexthul's translator seemed to malfunction briefly, producing only bewildered static. Dr. Chen, he finally managed, I cannot in good conscience authorize this expedition. The risks are simply too— Oh, don't worry about authorization, she interrupted. We're not asking permission, just being polite neighbors. Human territorial law is pretty clear about unclaimed worlds, and since the Galactic Council declared this place uninhabitable, it's technically free real estate. Before Zexthul could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the bridge. Through the viewport, they watched as the human vessel detached a landing craft that immediately began its descent toward the jungle canopy. Thanks for the heads up about the local wildlife, Dr. Chen called out as the transmission ended. If this goes well, we might set up a permanent research station, maybe even a resort. Humans love extreme vacation destinations. 3 hours. Later, Zexthul received a transmission from the surface. Dr. Chen appeared on screen, seated at a folding table surrounded by towering luminescent trees that pulsed with warning colors. She was calmly eating what appeared to be a sandwich while her colleagues collected samples from plants that had been actively trying to eat their predecessors just that morning. Day 1 update, she reported cheerfully. The local ecosystem is absolutely fascinating. We've already identified 17 new species, 3 of which have attempted to adopt us. The razorclaw stalkers are actually quite social once you establish dominance through superior firepower and sandwich sharing. Behind her, a creature that looked like a cross between a panther and a Venus flytrap was apparently napping in a patch of sunlight, a half-eaten sandwich beside it. Oh, and Commander Zexthul, we're thinking of naming the first settlement New Eden. Has a nice ring to it, don't you think? As Zexthul watched in stunned silence, more humans emerged from the jungle carrying scientific equipment and what appeared to be construction materials. One of them waved cheerfully at the orbiting ship, before returning to assembling what looked suspiciously like the framework for a permanent structure. 6 months later, the Galactic Survey Council officially reclassified Verdania 7 as inhabited. Extreme caution advised. Humans present. The warning was less about the indigenous dangers, and more about the growing tendency of humans to invite visitors to experience the wonders of jungle living through increasingly elaborate adventure tourism packages. Commander Zexthul kept Dr. Chen's business card in his desk drawer, right next to his updated will and emergency anxiety medication. On quiet nights, he could swear he heard her voice carried on the solar wind, cheerfully inviting the galaxy to come visit the neighborhood and bring marshmallows for the campfire. The jungle, it seemed, had finally met its match, and that match was having a picnic.